Welcome to Games Analysis and Producer Perspectives. Hope you're having a good one. I am once again Ray Hazlip, and today is going to be a bit of a short one. You've probably been wondering, hey, I haven't seen or heard any of your episodes in like a while. What happened? Well, we did a couple of episodes on unscripted gaming, obviously, with Josh, with Mike, and I think one with just me and Josh. So do listen to those. Now, as for the actual game analysis and producer perspectives episodes, which I was trying to do every single week, well, grad school started really hard in real earnest for me in the past couple of weeks. And it's not that it's very, very difficult, at least I should say not very, very difficult for me yet, at the very least. But it is taking up a lot of time, so I do have to balance out what time I do have. But I found about half an hour today, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about a quick episode. This is about facing bad news, constant bad news. Now, you look out into the world today, it's August of 2025. You don't have to go very far to get bad news. For example, just today it was announced the PlayStation 5 has a price increase coming up of $50. And the PlayStation 5 Pro, of course, is also going to get a $50 increase. So $750 for a PS5 Pro. Now, as I've said before, and I said, I do believe last episode, back in my day, after a couple of years, especially 5 years or close to 5 years when a video game console was out, the price usually went down $50 to $100, not up. So we are in unprecedented times. And they're not the only one. A couple of weeks ago, Nintendo announced that the Switch 1 was going to go ahead and have a price increase of $30, up to including the Switch OLED as well, which would have a price increase of $30. Now, that one is weird, because I said this to a couple friends. Anyone that wanted a Nintendo Switch 1 probably has one, or they're probably in the market for a Switch Lite, which I think also went up $30, so that is now a $230 system, which is still a phenomenal bargain. I was there when the Nintendo 3DS came out, and that was a $270 system. So buying a Switch Lite for $230 to me is still a great deal if you don't care about plugging a Switch into your TV. But obviously, yes, the price of that should go down, and maybe it will. Maybe you just have to go buy it used, which I say go do that. As a matter of fact, that's part of what I want to talk about, facing bad news. As a producer or as a project manager, you will always have to deliver bad news. It's not always going to be good news. There's always going to be something bad happening in the world or in the environment or something around you. And some people feed off of that. Let's call it what it is. Some people absolutely love bad things happening, bad takes, bad drama. And why? Because it makes life interesting. I've said this many times in the classes that I teach, that specifically in the Western world, or if you want to get extremely hyper-locative, geographically located in the United States, we have a pretty comfortable life. We sometimes need to seek bad things because we haven't had certain things like in Europe, land wars, or at least if you're close to the, eastern border next to Ukraine, the possibility of a land war with a gigantic nuclear armed nation. That's not great news, and you probably aren't seeking out bad news from that point. But in the United States, to go ahead and seek out bad news, all you have to do is turn on the news, and some people do feed off of that. Twitter still gets 5 million active users for that reason, in my humble opinion. But more like weird news, weird bad news. I was talking with another group of friends where we have found out that pretty much the entire Blu-ray market for anime, like Gundam or whatnot, which I do have a lot of Gundam Blu-rays. I got back into buying them just to have physical copies. The site where I used to buy those Blu-rays, it was called Right Stuff, and it was stuff spelled with one F, not two Fs. That got bought up by the streaming site Crunchyroll, and so did Funimation Studios, which is odd because Funimation has been around since back before I was in college. It's been around for a long time. Can't get those Blu-rays anymore. They were all bought by Crunchyroll, and Crunchyroll just stopped printing Blu-rays. So I won't say which one, but there are certain Gundam Blu-rays I happen to have in my library where if you go and try to buy a copy of them unsealed on eBay, it is now a $500 disc for whatever reason I don't know, because it's that rare now. I guess it's a good thing I bought them, and it's something to consider that I have to add to the will, I guess, one of these days for the little kid I have. On top of that, Crunchyroll has approved a new anime, and they showed a trailer for it. It's called Sekiro Never Defeat. Or Never Defeated, or something like that. You know what? I don't care. Why? Because I found out today that a lot of the Sekiro animation for the combat scenes use AI to fill in a lot of gaps. If you start pausing the trailer during these scenes, you can see like, oh, they screwed up the hands. Oh my gosh, those hands have like 4 fingers instead of 5. That looks weird. No animator would actually just do that. They would pay attention. Not great. Not good, and it made a video game anime adaptation that I was really looking forward to instantly killed it for me, and now I just don't care. That's not great news. What is good news, though, is that you can go ahead and just watch something else. You can always watch something else, and so I saw, well, I'm not going to do that. I have $15, so I'm going to buy this game called Signalis. It's an indie-developed game, and it was highly recommended to me, so I went to Steam Store and bought that. That's what you could do. Some of the bad news is going to be bad, and there's some of the bad news where there is no good news component to it. There's nothing I could do to make the Sekiro anime, which is going to use AI animation, better. Nothing. But you could do something else. There's so much media out there that it is impossible in your lifetime to consume it all. So as another example, the past couple of weekends, the beta version of Battlefield 6 was available completely for free, so long as you had a decent enough computer to run it. And you didn't even need to have a decent enough computer. My computer ran it perfectly fine at 60 frames per second. I might still get the PS5 version. I haven't made that determination yet. But it was really good, the beta version of Battlefield 6. It actually reminded me a lot of, like, what if Battlefield 3 was a bit better, but it wasn't as extreme as Battlefield 4? Which is cool. And that's kind of what I ultimately wanted out of that style of game. Honestly, what I want is Battlefield 2142, the sequel, or just a re-release of Battlefield 2142, but beggars can't be choosers in these time frames. And I'm really excited to one day play this game. It'll release at $70 here in October, which is unfortunate for me because I was planning to not buy a game in October, but here we are. A game I recently beat was Donkey Kong Bonanza. Yes, that was a Nintendo Switch 2 game that came out at $70, but what a phenomenal game that was for $70. It was extremely fun, and I look forward one day to playing it along with Mario Odyssey with my little guy. So there are good things that are out there. There just are. One of my really good friends, Michael, he recently bought a Switch 2 because he saw a commercial for Donkey Kong Bonanza and decided, yeah, that's it. I got to go ahead. He was holding off on buying a new console, but he's like, let me get a Switch 2, the Mario Kart bundle, and I'll also get Donkey Kong with it. And he started playing both of them, and he's absolutely having a blast. He even was having such a blast, he convinced me to go buy Mario Kart because he said he wanted to play online with me. And I said, sure. I was not going to buy Mario Kart because it's an $80 game. I wasn't able to get the Switch 2 bundle. But after talking with my friend, I will go ahead and buy it for my friend so I can play with him online. Played a lot of Mario Kart 2 over the past couple of weeks, and yeah, it's fun. It's good. Is it $80 good? No, not even close. It's an argument to be made. I'm not sure if it's $70 good, real talk. But is it good? Is it a fun game? It is good. There are plenty of different games that you can buy and play, and you don't have to go ahead and get hyped for every new piece of media or every new console or everything new that comes out. You can go ahead and try something that is been out for a while. If you want an example of a game that has been out for a while that I had a lot of fun with, what was it that I had just played recently? I guess I have it over here on my shelf. Yeah, replayed Super Smash Bros. Online. Believe it or not, that game is still fun. That game is still good. If you have a Switch 2, download the demo of the Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tale. That's just like a 2-hour demo, but what a demo. It is like, what if Square Enix made Zelda, except you just play as a red mage as opposed to Link? And it's a phenomenal game. It's got a release date of sometime in 2026. And I absolutely cannot wait to one day buy that cart and play that game. So, I talked about the opening bad news. A lot of consoles, basically due to tariffs, thank you, Trump. Trump tariffs, we'll call them. Because of that, the consoles across the spectrum are all going up in price. Microsoft increased the consoles of their price of their consoles a while ago, way back in May. Which is funny that they were the first ones to do that because they were also the ones selling the least amount of them. I guess they figured, let's just rip the Band-Aid off and get this over with now. It's not getting any better. Which is fine. It's going to happen. And yes, we are in these economic markets where everything is getting more expensive. Buy less games. It's cool. It's absolutely cool. Buy smaller games. Buy indie games. There's a ton of indie games out there. The game I recently beat, I do believe I talked about it a couple of weeks ago, Death's Door. That was a $15, $20 game I got on Switch. You can also get it on Steam. You can get it on PS5, PS4, what have you. It's been out for a while. Great little Dark Souls-like game where you play as a crow who has the powers of, what we know as death and why it's called Death's Door. Great little game, great little story. Took a long time to beat. It took like 10 hours plus to beat, but I enjoyed all of it. Really fun. Or I actually tried that game, Star of Providence. Not my cup of tea. I've decided that, I decided long ago, roguelikes kind of just aren't my thing unless it's really, really specific. And I'm talking like Hades specific. Not much else. So here, I'm going to go into the producer part. How is it that you deliver bad news? There are ways to deliver bad news, and there are bad ways to deliver it. I've had people that deliver bad news just in horrific ways of doing it, and they make it really awkward, and it feels very awkward for everyone involved. They're like, okay, that's bad news. It's your job to deliver it. Is there a better way you could have done that? And the answer was, no, they were just going to deliver it poorly, which sucks. Just sucks. So, here is how, after years, I've learned to deliver bad news. First things first, you just deliver the news. You don't try to say, all right, team, not going to sugarcoat it. No, you don't do that. Or you don't walk in with a bit of swagger and say, well, here we are. I can't believe we hit this moment. No, you don't do that either. When you have to deliver bad news, you go and say, okay, I have some news to say, and I'm going to say it immediately. And then you say it immediately, whatever that bad news is, and say, blah, 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 blah. Don't ramp up. Don't let people get time to get anxious. Don't let people get time to go ahead and get wild stories in their head. And especially don't deliver it via email and say, hey, I need to talk with you about something. Unfortunately, it's bad news. See you in 3 hours. Because you just set up someone to go ahead and have a panic attack for 3 hours. Why would you do that? That's an awful thing to do. I'm saying that in podcast format because when I was a very young producer, I used to do that. I wouldn't say like, I have to deliver bad news. I would say, hey, can you come see me? I need to go talk with you about something. More times than not, it was always just normal stuff, but the person I would talk to would never know if that was bad news or not. And once they told me like, hey, I'm sorry, like that made me really anxious. I wish you just told me it was going to be like absolutely nothing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. And so I've completely changed the way I've delivered news going forward. And it's become a lot more respectable, a lot less anxious. So just deliver it. Point blank, front there. If it needs to be with a wide audience, you do it with a wide audience as soon as possible. Do not delay. Second part of delivering bad news is the delivery method. You do it in a calm, flat tone, but you also keep yourself natural. I know that doesn't make sense. I'm sorry that doesn't make sense, but that's the way I have found to do it. Okay, so the way I'm talking right now is just a normal tone. It's just my normal voice. But if I had to deliver bad news, I would say like let's say we ran out of gum. I got to pack up gum over here. Let's say I'm completely out and I can't get more for like a week. I love gum. It's a good way to keep your teeth clean. Keep your breath clean as well. I would say, all right, unfortunately, we're completely out of gum and we're not going to get it for another 7 days. That sucks. And there's, we're going to have to go ahead and weather that storm. Now, you would think I would leave it at that, but no, you go ahead and mount up with more. But when we do get more gum, here are the different flavors that we can choose, and it'll give us something to look forward to. Boom! You never end the bad news with a bad note. You try to end with something good on the back end of it. Because you know what happens when you end bad news on a bad note? It looks bad, it stays bad, and it feels awkward. Don't be awkward. Try to end with something good. Give someone some light, some silver lining at the end of a tunnel. Something. Or else you're just a arbiter of bad news, and then people will stop wanting to talk with you. And frankly, with good reason. Who wants to talk with the person that always delivers bad news? It always feels like that you want to shoot the messenger. So try to give something at the end. Then you look more like the messenger of like, hey, this person delivered bad news, but at least they did it in the most professional way possible. Of course, when most companies have to do massive layoffs, the good news they always end with is we are trying to help these employees get rehired. We are giving them a large severance package. We are letting them keep their health care for like 30 to 60 days or something like that. Blah, 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 blah. That's something. And most people do walk away with, wow, this company is a bunch of jerks. But at least their employees are going to get taken care of for the next X number of days. That's something. It still sucks. It's still bad. And I've been a part of the conversations where we've talked about severance packages and employee layoffs and whatnot. And it's not a great thing. It just isn't. So that's how you end that. An example, when we were closing down the San Francisco studio of Wargaming of America, and only a small team, less than 30 people, I think it was 27, 28 people from a team of like, I think it was 125 or 115. So, a fraction were moving from the San Francisco office to Austin. The way they delivered that news, at first it was really bad. It was horrible. As a matter of fact, I do believe the person that ended up delivering the news to the San Francisco office ended up getting let go from the company of Wargaming. They said they're going to go spend time with their family. We all know what that means. We all know what it means when an executive has to deliver bad news. Everyone takes it bad. Then they have to go spend time with their family. Come on. So it was deliver better news of, hey, we understand that this was really bad news. We understand this is really upsetting to a lot of people. Here's what we'll do. We're going to give you months and months and months of severance package. I do believe it was 4 months worth of severance package or something like that. 4 months of healthcare plus employee assistance with getting people into new roles and new jobs. It was honestly, to this day, and granted, I wasn't in even a part of that layoff wave. I was one of the 27 people that went to Austin. But to this day, when it comes to game industry layoffs, I have never seen a company do it better than that. I just haven't. So if it's going to get done, having 1/3 of a year advance notice that it's happening and another third of a year saying that when it happens, you will get your severance package along with it, which will include like your full pay for X number of months. Well, it's not bad. It's at least something. It was kind of hard to stay really ticked off at Wargaming of America when it happened. When we, I will have to say, when we were working on a new game, this was actually, no, not a new game, an older game. I won't say which one. It was at Wargaming. And it was found out this game might sunset. That means we're going to turn it off. We started prepping the news to deliver this slowly. We were going to give players a 6-month heads up notice. And when it was time to deliver the news, we got stopped by like some executives. I won't get into how that happened because that game to this day is still active. But we were stopped. And we had a whole message list of here's all the bad news that comes with that, but here's all the good news. And it was a good news message, and I was more than happy to deliver it. Wish I could give a lot more details on that. But it is a science. It's kind of a science. It is a well-defined art of delivering bad news, walking into the fire. The job of the producer and the project manager is to not only deliver news of keeping time, but also be prepared to deliver sometimes the really bad news. Hey, you're all going to crunch for the next 3 weeks. That's bad news. Nobody likes crunch. Nobody likes working longer, especially if it doesn't include more pay. People have families. People have lives. People just want more sleep. How about people just want to exercise, or people have shows that they want to watch, or games that they want to play? All this is valid. It's fine. But being told, hey, you're just going to have to work more because something screwed up along the way, well, deliver some side news to it. Okay, you all have to work more, but for every time you have to work through dinner hours, we're just paying for your dinner. That happened. There was a period where we had to do crunch on, I do believe it was the game, I feel like it was Tiny Tina's Wonderland, but I could be wrong. No, I think it was Tiny Tina's Wonderland, and this was in 2022, I do believe. And I had to deliver the bad news of, we are going to have to crunch you. And I hate crunch. I don't love it at all. But I came up with an idea with leadership. I said, we have to deliver this bad news, but what if we paid for everyone to have free lunch, free dinner, and we buy everyone a copy of the latest, greatest, hottest game so that when crunch is over, they can play it. And at that time, that was Elden Ring. Like, just give everybody a free copy of Elden Ring. Myself included. And we did that. And tell you what, everyone received that crunch well. They're like, and this was during the waning days of the pandemic. So it's like, yeah, sure. Tell us what you want for lunch and dinner, and we will give you free DoorDash. And for your lunch, then DoorDash again for your dinner. Here's the company account. Use that. And tell us what system you want Elden Ring for. You want PS5, PS4, Xbox? What are we talking here? PC. And we went ahead and made that right for everybody. I collected their names. I collected their system of preference. I made sure that they were eating, getting their food. And we had a good time, honestly. We still had fun making that game. I'm actually really proud of working on that game. So there are ways to adjust for bad news delivery. Anyways, that is what I have today. That's about the rest of the half hour I have used up. So I hope you enjoyed it. We'll have more to say later on. I'm going to try to make these a little bit more regular. It is getting harder and harder to find time during the weeks due to life. But I still love talking about producer perspectives and looking at the game industry and giving like a brief analysis. I still love that. So I'm going to keep doing that. I hope you all have yourselves a good day. Oh, and by the way, I am horrific at self-promotion. I have written 2 books, 2 military science fiction books. Go to stanhazlip.com, or you can just type my name, Ray Hazlip, into Amazon, and the 2 books I made will pop up. So give those a look. They're on sale right now for, I think, $2.99 if you want the paperback or Kindle versions. Actually, I think it's just the Kindle version is $2.99. Or you can get the ebook version, or you can go ahead and get the Audible version, because I went ahead and talked with some voice actors and they did the vocals for the characters of the book. I like the Audible version of the second book the best, Gods of the Forest. By all means, check them out if you want to. Okay, that's enough self-promotion. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen. I hope you have yourselves a fine weekend. Check out our other content on unscriptedgaming.com. You have yourselves a good one, and goodbye.